Today, the topic is not what you say, but how you say it. Now, somewhere we have forgotten the art of speaking, especially understanding a child, understanding anybody for that matter. So, we speak the way we want or the way we are used to without giving much attention to how it might be received by another person, especially the child. With child, we expect them to understand the way we are giving it to them. However, every one of us, every child hears it differently. I mean, we could have noticed it. Especially you have multiple children or your own childhood, if you had siblings, parents or anybody instructed something and we all heard differently. It wasn't the same thing. Either it was a very strong direction or it was a fun way of presenting, whatever. So I brought in the picture of grandmother this time on the flyer because somewhere, again, this day and time, I'm assuming we all are growing up to become wiser grandparents where we have the time to observe, to understand every grandchild coming to me, every child coming to me, every adult around me, to look at their actions and determine that this child cannot sit and listen to me for an entire sentence, so let me just give them what is the key word so the child can take my instructions, right? Or understand that this child is very ambitious and I need to give them something very purposeful which has a meaningful task and outcome. Or understand this child is not getting up to the expected task force to their age and time, to their age, and so let me motivate them a little bit. So we are talking here about different temperaments. That is something I'm born with. The 5 elements are made up of those elements, and the earth, fire, air, water, and space. And each of us invariably are taking the qualities of those elements. It's very much like coffee has to be brown, milk has to be white. So if I add milk to the coffee, the lightness of the brown decoction reduces. It becomes pale brown. It takes on the quality of the milk. So coffee is coffee. That's my temperament. Milk is the environment. Adding milk, creating that environment for the child modifies the quality of, dilutes or enhances the quality of coffee. And that environment is me for the child. Now, I'm supposed to create it, I'm supposed to build it for the child. And that comes when I have time to observe my child. Few moments a day. It doesn't have to be the entire day keep observing. Because we are observing, we should also begin to think about, why did my child flare up today? Why my child is locking up in the room today? Why is my child not eating the same breakfast that I always prepare? And suddenly his interests have changed. What might be the reason? That's the environment. Fundamentally, I still am the coffee decoction, strong, brown, bitter. That's my personality. I'm born with it. I have to accept it. I cannot expect the coffee decoction to become a tea decoction. I mean, that quality is different. That's where we mostly are making the mistake because we have a set benchmark in our heads that our children have to be a certain way or adults have to be certain way. We want everybody to be happy, happy go lucky, talk, Don't take it very seriously. Sometimes take it very seriously. When exams comes, take it very seriously. Otherwise, have fun. Not going to happen. And that requires it will happen provided I create that kind of an environment. So understanding that every child is going to hear me differently, is going to observe me differently, just like I hear people differently, I behave differently with different people. That's what being human is. Why do I expect everybody to come out of a mold or my mold? Imagine how confused the child will be. I expect child to understand me, especially when the child is capable of doing something. We expect them to do that forever in the same systematic, profound ways. But then children are growing up. There is 7-year cycle that Steiner recommends, where every 7 years we are a new human being. There's a new consciousness, the new identity is being developed. That's environment. Child at its core isn't changing much. We have not changed much since my childhood. But my environment has changed, making me learn a different language, making me adjust to different kinds of foods and environments that I may have traveled and stayed in. My job, my boss, people have come and people have gone, and I've learned my lessons and I appear to have evolved. But then you go back and ask my siblings, ask my aunts and uncles, they'll say you're exactly the same the way you were, because they see something very fundamental. And that's what they resonated with when we were all growing up together, and now they can relate to it. So nothing great has changed except my reactions to the outside me. And that's how children appear to change as well. When a child takes on this element of earth, the qualities of earth is strong, rigid, nurturing, taking on all the burden that is inflicting on it. A person with melancholic temperament is also that. They are strong, they are nurturing, they are caring, they appear to be rigid, they appear to be perfectionist. They could be perfectionist, but then I create an environment, where I say, yes, being perfect is perfectly is required. When you're cutting diamonds, yes, you got to be very, very precise to make that cut. But if you're cutting a bread, it's okay. Or if you're tearing off a chapati when you eat your lunch, it's okay. That's the okay environment that I'm supposed to bring in. Then there is water element, very flexible, just like water, transparent, is called universal solvent, takes in anything, everything. But if it's not flowing, then the water becomes polluted. Stagnant water gets polluted easily. So water has to be moving. So the child with that temperament is going to appear lazy. They are slow to change. They are slow to take on, to move. They need that little gradient. So water moves easily. Gradient is like motivation. Yes, tomorrow morning, if the child is not getting out of the bed before 10 a.m., and we plan his or her favorite activity at 8 a.m., this is what we are going to do. You can join or you may stay in the bed, depending on the need of the hour. That little motivation, that's the environment I create. Then there is air element. Just like air, I can't even see it, I can't even comprehend what is in the air, what is its composition. Is there even the air that I'm breathing? I can only feel its presence. People with sanguine temperament are like that. They come, they go, very social, very happy go lucky, they don't stay put anywhere. Equally, the character of that is they are also not very responsible. See, taking up some huge task, Sitting at it and doing it is not sanguine's cup of tea. Very difficult for them to stay put. But then the earth element can do it very, very well. They can sit at a project for years together if need be, right? And choleric, the fire element, just like the fire, very intense, go-getters, ambitious. Even after the fire is gone, you can feel its presence, you can see the smoke, that's where the fire was. People with choleric temperament are just like that. They are going to leave a trace behind them even after they're left. They could be leader like, they could be arrogant, they could yell, shout, they can get work done provided it's purposeful. They will leave no stone unturned. Now, what environment do I create for choleric element is to ensure that they don't burn bridges. They don't break up friendship. They don't just yell like crazy, because they do if they have to get the work done. So managing the environment is something I have to balance it out by creating that environment. So it's not what I say, but how I say it. My language matters. If I had 4 children with these 4 different qualities, then I have to speak 4 different ways. We teach teachers to tell the stories, the same story, in 4 different ways. Just because if I say it in my way, which could be my own predominant temperament, then only one set of the class will listen to me well. They say, oh, she's an awesome teacher, but 3/4 of the class might reject me because I don't resonate with them. So, as a teacher, as a parent, I need to develop an understanding of the temperament and speak in a way my child understands me, that I get the outcomes of the family as I expect together. So, learning about this temperament is important. And knowing my own temperament, it's not that one is dominant. Some of us have one as a very dominant temperament, some of us have two as equally dominant, some of us may have worked over it or created an environment around me in such a way that one is going up to an extent of having the negative side of it come to the fore. I balance it. So I may appear very, very balanced. It's a practiced skill. And that's what I need to help my children learn through my words, through my gestures. Thank you.